There is no doubt about it. Some of the best fishing of 2023 has erupted in Southern California and Northern Baja, California, as fishing is outstanding for dorado, yellowfin tuna, bluefin tuna, and big yellowtail. The weather's been perfect, and Southern California anglers have been putting the hurt on a variety of fish. Take a look at the deck of the Endeavor out of Ventura Harbor sport fishing. Fishing is about as good as it can get in SoCal right now. Hope you get out soon.
Oh yeah, it's the bluefin from day one.
It's like 35 pounds. Yeah, it's in the ball. What number is it? Oh, sorry. It's 32.
Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. Here on this lovely Thursday morning, the sun is just coming up, and there's a lot of activity here on the beach. All kinds of stuff has been washed up on the beach, and there's mussels and clams, and these birds are fighting behind me over all of that. Man, I got to tell you, it has got to be some of the best fishing of 2023 right now in Southern California and Northern Baja. But man, the opportunities are great, and man, our Apollo trip sails tonight out of C4 Sport Fishing. Can't wait to see you all down there. It's some incredible fishing, and hopefully it'll keep on going for us as we jump on board the Apollo this evening. There's yellowfin tuna, there's bluefin tuna, there's big yellowtail, there is copious amounts of dorado right now, and the weather has been perfect. Man, it's a great time to be alive and in sport fishing in Southern California. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh my God. Some of the scores and some of the fishing that's going on already here this morning. Already talked to two boats who are on good jags of yellowfin tuna. It is phenomenal. And I want to make this point right now that it goes from below the border, Ensenada area, all the way up to Ventura in terms of where boats can access this fish. Out of Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing, they ran a day-and-a-half trip with Tucker McCombs, and they creamed the big yellowtail on that one. We have big yellows on Cortez Bank, and while the banks have not been producing, talking about Tanner and Cortez, a lot of bluefin here recently, and the nighttime fishing hasn't been all that great. Man, there are so many opportunities, other opportunities that I'll get into with each and every one of you. Don't forget the El Patron 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California. They've got a slew of great day-and-a-half trips. Now is the time to jump on the El Patron 310-832-8304. IndependenceSportFishing.com. We have a 5-day trip departing October the 20th. It's a trip you are not going to want to miss. October 20th. Get on that trip. I'll be there, and I can't wait to see you. Once again, it is IndependenceSportFishing.com. That should be an absolutely wonderful trip. All right, let's jump into it. We'll start south of the border, and it's been a tough offshore season out of Ensenada this year. But if you find that right kelp eddy or find that right jag of yellowfin tuna, it can really get good and get good in a hurry. The fallback there in Ensenada has been some really great local fishing for bonita, few barracuda, great calico bass fishing going on around Punta Banda area, and still a little bit of sand bass around places like University Point and other areas. But there's still some good offshore fishing. Our good buddy Louis Prieto down there came up with some fish here recently, bluefin, yellowfin, dorado for some of the other guys down there in that neck of the woods. It's for reels. REELS, sport fishing in Ensenada. That's Louis. You should join him. He's a great guy. He's got a bar in Ensenada also that's a lot of fun. So some pretty darn good fishing going on that side of the border. However, the San Diego fleet, and I'm talking boats that leave in the morning, come back in the evening, overnight boats like we're on the Apollo, multi-day trips, have found some incredible fishing on the U.S. side of the border. And the reason why I point that out is because the dorado limit in Mexico is 2 fish per rod. In the USA, it is 10 fish per rod. And I got to tell you, a whole slew of boats managed to catch limits of dorado yesterday. A lot of that fish is in that 5-pound class, smaller grade, but we saw a significant amount of nicer sized dorado also mixed in with it. And when you get 10 fish, fresh mahi-mahi like that, there is nothing better on the grill or making fish tacos or ceviche or anything else. Let me give you a few of the scores. Man, they are so impressive. I've got to tell you that. San Diego yesterday, leaves in the morning, comes back in the evening out of C4 sport fishing. 33 guys, 102 yellowfin tuna, 66 dorado. The Sea Watch, 14 guys, 44 yellowfin tuna with 14 dorado. The Highliner, 26 guys, 260 on the dorado, 42 yellowfin tuna. The Liberty, 33 guys, limits of dorado, 69 yellowfin tuna. The Old Glory, 25 guys, 250 on the dorado, 90 yellowfin tuna. And I know it's getting redundant, but this is the kind of redundancy I live for. This is so great. Producer, 200 dorado, 80 yellowfin tuna. It can't get much better than that. While I'm talking about San Diego based boats up here in the LA Orange County area, those guys are all over it also. In fact, Scott Buchert on the Point Loma said that he could see yesterday the Amigo and the Freedom, and those guys were getting them, and they had outstanding fishing on the Freedom, the Amigo, the Fury, the Thunderbird. If I'm leaving anybody out, I apologize. If you're in that zone, you are catching fish right now. And it simply can't get much better than it is. All the way up to Ventura Harbor, sport fishing the Endeavor on a day-and-a-half trip, just all over the giant yellowtail. They also had some great bluefin tuna fishing with limits of bluefin tuna. Those things are still around. They just moved off the bank. I'll talk about that in a moment, but limits of bluefin, 69 yellowtail, 15 anglers on the Endeavor out of Ventura Harbor sport fishing. Tucker McCombs doing his thing as usual. That guy just never quits, keeps working hard. His expertise is at a whole different level. Really cranking on him. 805-676-3474 if you want to jump on a boat out of Ventura Harbor sport fishing. Wow, it is really outstanding fishing right now. So really great offshore with that mix of fish that we thought was finally going to get here. It is here in mass right now with those yellowfin in the 12 to 20 pound class for the most part. We talked about the greater dorado that's running around. A lot of that bluefin right now is in the 15 to 30 pound class that's around town. A few bigger fish. The nighttime bite, as I mentioned, has not been very good here recently. There's a few big fish being taken at night. Incidentally, talking to my apologies, we are not going to be night fishing, so you don't have to worry about that kind of gear. You just want to be geared up for the daytime. And I might as well go into that for our Apollo guys as well as anybody else fishing. I think 25 to 40 pound. If you had two rods, a 25 and a 40, you're going to be in really, really good shape in this bite the way it stands. Things change, and if we get into a stop on the 100+ pound bluefin, you're going to want to kill me. But that should do you just fine. And for the dorado, some J hooks, like a 2.0 J hook is working good. I mean, it's full speed. You can use a 5.0 hook in many of these bites. Circle hook, a little smaller on the yellowfin, but when it fires up, you don't have to fish the number 1, number 2 hook. You can go to a much bigger hook also, but I would have that just in case it gets a little bit more finicky. You'll be well prepared. And a Daiwa Zakana jig or two, not a bad idea. You can throw that with your 40 pound. I actually prefer a little heavier, but I'm trying to save you some money on rod rental and that kind of thing. 25 and a 40, you can throw those jigs for the yellowfin, 100 to 150 grams, and you'll be in there for some great fishing. It simply doesn't get much better than it is. Fluorocarbon, we love it. It's abrasion resistant. It gets bit better. www.optionusa.com. Man, I'll tell you right now, this is awesome fishing that is going on. Hey, the Christian Fibbers Club, they were out with Rambo on the Cortez, limits of dorado. But check out what they saw floating out there. That is a giant squid. That is one heck of a big squid. I guess a Humboldt perhaps. Giant, floating around. It was gnawed on by some kind of creature and predator. But man, are those things around here now? I mean, I know bluefin and so many other species, big bluefin, will feed on those things. So that's a pretty interesting thing. And the guys from that club, really great guys. As always, I'm so happy to see they had fun. They raved about Jim Hughes, Rambo, and the crew on board the Cortez said it was fantastic. There is still bluefin tuna around. It seems to have moved off the bank, but there is some pretty significant bluefin tuna fishing. The Islander on a 3-day trip had limits on the bluefin tuna. We already mentioned Tucker up there on the Endeavor, and several other guys are getting into that BFT. It is still around, and hopefully we're going to see more and more of it as we go along. So absolutely phenomenal fishing for the San Diego-based boats, for the boats out of the LA Orange County area. The Thunderbird. Greg Bates is on that trip. Greg, who fishes on so many of our trips and does so much to help us here at Friedman Adventures with our efforts in Mexico, with our charters. Great guy, and he's catching all kinds of fish. They're just having tremendous fishing right now. The weather forecast good for the next 24, 48 hours. It's still looking very good. Man, it can't get any better than it is right now. I know I keep repeating that, but pinch me. I think I'm dreaming that fish from the El Nino has surged in here, and I think it's going to be around for a while. As I mentioned to you, the only thing that'll screw this up is Arctic-based storms, a significant amount of those storms that reduces our water temperature and mucks up the water, and I don't see that for any time. So it should just keep trucking along. Really great fishing on the offshore scene. On the Pacific Voyage, our friend Jolene Thompson. She is an outstanding angler and an outstanding person. Jolene, I'm so happy to see that you had such a great trip. That looks good. And also on the Excalibur, Raul Tirado Jr. bouncing a nice flathead on board there and having a lot of fun. There's so many great stories out there right now with so much good fishing, and I don't see that slowing down. As I mentioned, I just had a chance here before daybreak to talk to a couple of boys. They were on Yellowfin. I think this is just going to keep trucking on, and it seems like that fish could be headed up towards San Clemente Island. It's a ways away from there right now, but we'll see where it ends up. It's moving a little bit. There's more fish down below. It's just a scenario that's incredible. In fact, you look at the boat Enterprise out of Pier Point Landing in Long Beach, and while they fished cod yesterday and limited out, they got a good shot at the bigger bluefin, and that's right here. I mean, not very far off the beach. Same thing down there out of Dana. There's bluefin tuna, yellowfin tuna, dorado, very close to home. That's ready to explode. I'm talking about 3/4 day type runs or full day type runs, even half day kind of runs. That is in our future. You watch the Pursuit. They're going to get all over it here one of these days out of 22nd Street Landing. The Native Sun. These boys are going to get on that fish. It's going to be biting locally. It is really an exciting time. All right, let's talk islands. Down there, Todos Santos, Ensenada area. Few yellowtail, not much. Some good calico bass fishing, San Clemente Island. Not many guys are fishing it because, well, I mean, come on. It's so wide open right near there that most guys are offshore. Guys have been in there, picked a few yellows, decent calico bass, sheepshead, whitefish, blah, 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 blah. Up there, Catalina, Pursuit yesterday had a yellowtail and filled the sacks with a variety of species, whitefish, sheepshead, some calico bass. Not bad. Decent fishing there. Up in the Channel Islands, man, I got to tell you, if you like fishing whitefish and that kind of stuff, and who doesn't? That's fun fishing. They had on board the Gray Light yesterday, limits of whitefish, all kinds of rockfish. They catch an occasional halibut. There's bluefin tuna nearby up there bouncing around also. We've got that in our sights as that is looking really good. Looking at our local bite, the Premier down there out of H&M Landing in San Diego. Man, great calico bass fishing. A lot of shorts, but constant action for the 10 anglers on board. I mean, they were catching calicos right and left down there. Oceanside, Dana, those guys are having some exceptional calico bass fishing in that neck of the woods also. There's bluefin right here, and they're big. So if you're jumping on a 3/4 day boat like the Victory or the Enterprise or the Native Sun or the Pursuit, bring some heavy tackle. Just be sure that you got the heaviest tackle you have. I'm not telling you to go out and rent something right now or anything like that, but bring some heavy tackle just in case. You may never get to it, but if you do and you get on a bite on that big gray bluefin, man, you're going to thank your lucky stars. In fact, that tackle that I recommended up front is something you want to bring on the 3/4 day boat, in addition to some 12 or 15 pound tests so you can get a better bass bite for yourself. Gray Light up there, again, good fishing. Coral Sea, tantalene, caught a bunch of rockfish out of Santa Barbara. Can't beat that kind of fishing, so that's looking good. And the surf, well, this is all messed up here this morning. You can see all this kelp. It's littered up and down the beach here with all of this stuff. You can find a clean beach, though. There's some really good yellowfin croaker fishing going on right now. Some spot fin, which like to bite bait. Spot fin are going to be taken on worms or sand crabs, something like that. Corvina fishing in the short water is really, really good right now. Excellent corvina bite in several different areas. And there's still some halibut being taken. It's been an exceptional halibut year, no question about it. Nick Wynn and another angler out there. Why don't I have his name down here? I don't know, but a couple guys with some nice kayak fish there yesterday. Nothing wrong with that. Nick, nice job. Your buddy, nice job there also. Nice flatties, and that is so good to see that. Don't forget your surf fishing headquarters in Southern California. If you're serious about catching fish in the surf, big fish bait and tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California, you're going to want to visit them for sure. You've got all your surf fishing baits and tackle, and they also have all the gear you'll need to take on these bluefin and yellowfin and dorado, as we're into an exceptional time of the Southern California sport fishing year. Perhaps the best fishing of 2023, and God only knows what lies ahead. It should continue to head in the right direction. All right, my friends, I don't know what to tell you. Fishing is awesome. I can't wait to see you on board the Apollo tonight, C4 Sport Fishing. I'll be down there probably about 7 p.m. If you want to get down there a little bit early, we'll get everybody on board. We might get the heck out of there a little bit earlier than we had planned. Make sure that you are ready to have a great trip, because I'm ready to have that with you. I'm there to videotape your great catch. And I know a couple of guys on there said, hey man, I hope you get a photo of me with my first dorado. I hope you get a photo of me with my first yellowtail. That's my job. So yell at me. If I'm over doing something else, videotaping somebody else, get me over there. I'll be running around, well, maybe not running, but I'll be limping around trying to get to you all. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait. Hope you get out soon, because it's great fishing right now. And if I don't see you tonight on board the Apollo, I hope to see you really, really soon. Have a great day, my friends, and a wonderful weekend.